Israel Adesanya versus Dricus du Plessis is finally official. This fight is going to take place at UFC 305 in Perth. Now, let's be honest, we all knew this was coming. The fight has been rumoured for quite some time now. It's really only a matter of time before this fight got announced. I'm looking forward to it, although what I will say is I feel like it's kind of been a missed opportunity on the UFC's behalf not to take this fight to Africa. This would have been the perfect time to do a UFC Africa event, in my opinion. But nonetheless, if not Africa, Australia is probably the next best thing, if we're going to be honest. I mean, fair play to Dricus du Plessis for, even though he is the champion, agreeing to go to Adesanya's neck of the woods and defend the belt over there. Mad respect for him, considering the guy is the champion. Really, he should be the one calling the shots here, not Adesanya. But now this fight's got announced, even before that, the conversation was, does Adesanya deserve this title fight or not? So we're going to talk a bit about it today. So Israel Adesanya, love him or hate him, is one of, if not the greatest middleweight of all time. I mean, Anderson Silva, in my opinion, is still the greatest middleweight of all time. But if Adesanya is able to become a 3-time middleweight champion, questions are going to have to start being asked here. Adesanya, like I said, is a 2-time middleweight champion with 5 title defenses when he won the belt off Robert Whittaker at UFC 243. He then went on a 5-fight title defense streak of Yoel Romero, probably one of the shittest fights of all time. Paulo Costa, that was a great win for Izzy, being able to finish Paulo Costa, who was undefeated at the time. He then jumped up and dared to be great. Those were Adesanya's words there, not mine. And challenged Jan Blachowicz for double champ status, where he did come up short. Didn't take that fight too serious, in my opinion. Didn't put on the size that was needed to go in there against a guy like Jan Blachowicz. And Jan just done the job in there. Jan just showed how good he was in that fight, in my opinion. He then had the rematch against Marvin Vettori. Again, bit of a stinker, if we're being honest. Then he had the rematch against Robert Whittaker, which was extremely close. Arguably could have went Whittaker's way. I haven't watched the fight in quite some time, though. Then he beat Jared Cannonier in a kind of one-sided fight. Those were his 5 title defenses, and then that is when he ran into his old rival Alex Pereira, who was able to stop him in the 5th round at UFC 281. Then Adesanya was able to get the rematch against Pereira at 287, where he knocked Alex Pereira out cold and sent him to the light heavyweight division. After that, as we all know, Adesanya ran in to now fan favourite Sean Strickland, who arguably had the biggest upset of all time. There is no one that can tell me they picked Sean Strickland to beat Israel Adesanya. No one thought that was going to happen. Adesanya was a massive favourite going into that. Not only did Strickland beat him, he absolutely dominated Israel Adesanya for all 5 rounds. Actually came close to finishing him in the first round when he dropped him with that big right hand. But ever since then, Adesanya has now been on the sidelines. Sean Strickland did defend the title, had a title fight against Dricus du Plessis, where he lost a very, very close split decision. Now, that fight could have gone Sean Strickland's way. It was that close. I'm not going to call robbery. I thought du Plessis won at the time of watching it. Could have gone either way, though. Very, very close. And now this has sparked the ongoing conversation, does Adesanya deserve the title shot or not? This is one thing people need to understand. Adesanya has now reached that level that very few get to. He is a megastar for the UFC, a massive pay-per-view seller. Adesanya is one of those guys that can call the shots now. I mean, a lot of people were saying he should have had a contender fight before and let du Plessis fight Strickland again in a rematch. It was never going to happen. Adesanya was never going to fight another contender. It just wasn't going to happen unless it was maybe Khamzat Chimaev. Again, very unlikely that would have even happened if the belt wasn't on the line, because it's such a big fight. Another thing you need to factor in is, yes, Sean Strickland is now a fan favourite, and his fight with du Plessis was a war. But Adesanya du Plessis is probably, in my opinion, could go down as one of the biggest fights in UFC history. Now, I know Sean Strickland is a big draw as well, but he's not on the level of Adesanya, let's be honest. I know Adesanya is cringe and weird, but the guy can sell a fight. Also, du Plessis and Adesanya are the perfect dance partner. I mean, I feel like this fight isn't getting the build-up it deserves either. I feel like it could have went on a world tour. It's that big, similar to Aldo and Conor. Because I feel like this fight, especially with the press conference and the media interviews, etc., is going to really capture the casual viewing audience, purely because of the way this build-up has already kind of went, with Adesanya bringing race into it, etc. So I feel like the trash talking might take a bit of go to a darker place, and that will then catch the eyes of the casual viewing audience. This fight is massive. I understand why Adesanya is getting the title shot. I don't really give a shit, to be honest. I'd much rather see Adesanya fight Du Plessis next than Sean Strickland, even though it was a good fight. That's just my opinion. Not that I'm an Adesanya fan in particular, but I'm a fan of this fight and everything that comes with it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. And after Adesanya, if Adesanya, is able to beat Dricus Du Plessis, obviously you've got the Sean Strickland rematch. What I will say is, though, I think Adesanya Du Plessis is going to be like a bit of a rivalry here. We're going to see this fight more than once. But if Adesanya does beat Du Plessis, I know Sean Strickland's there, but if Pereira can beat Yuri, let Adesanya move up for double champ status. I know he's only won the belt back. That might be controversial, but Adesanya, Pereira, both belts on the line, double champ status, finish the trilogy. That's fucking cinema right there. You can't tell me otherwise. But yeah, let me know your opinions in the comments below. Does Adesanya deserve it or not? And who do you think wins? And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.